Every family has secrets. Some just call it loyalty. But the hardest part of finally seeing the truth, it isn't what you find out, it's what you lose. When you finally stop keeping the secret, you lose the version of the family you tried so hard to protect. You lose the perfect picture, the happy story, and that deep down hope that they would eventually choose you over the silence. We just looked at how your body holds the secret, but now we're looking at the grief of the ideal. We're talking about the mourning process that happens when you realize the family you deserved just isn't the one you actually have. The hardest part of waking up to the truth is what I call the second loss. See, the first loss happened way back in the past. The actual event the secret is trying to hide. But the second loss, it's happening right now. It's the death of the version of the family you fought so hard to keep together. When you stop being the keeper, that perfect family portrait doesn't just crack, it dissolves. You're losing the hope that they'll wake up one day and choose you over the secret. You're losing the comfort of that happy story you've been telling yourself just to get through the holidays or the family reunions. This is a real, measurable, heavy grief. You aren't just mourning the facts, you're mourning the could have beens. You're grieving the support you never got, the protection you were never given, and the versions of your parents or elders you never really got to know because they were too busy being keepers themselves. And this grief, it's lonely. The rest of the family might still be clutching to the illusion. They might look at your sadness as a betrayal or negativity because they don't realize you're the only one attending the funeral for the family's integrity. You're mourning the truth while they're still celebrating a lie. We often try to think our way out of this feeling because it feels like we're losing. We think that if we're healed, we should be over it by now, but grief is the only bridge between the lie you lived and the life you actually want. You can't skip the mourning and expect to find the freedom. Think of these tears as the final payment on a family debt you didn't even rack up. When you cry for the child who wasn't protected, or the teenager who had to manage adult emotions while everyone else stayed silent, you're finally giving that version of yourself the validation the family refused to give. Allowing yourself to be sad is a massive act of self-loyalty. It's saying what happened mattered. The silence hurt, and I'm allowed to be heartbroken that it went down this way. This grief isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign you're finally waking up. It's your heart softening after years of being the strong one for everyone else. Once you let that grief move through you, it stops being this heavy weight and starts being the fuel for your future. You're finally washing your eyes clean so you can see the world as it actually is, not how they told you it had to be. You are allowed to mourn the home you didn't have while you're busy building the one you do. But grief isn't the end of the road. On the other side of those tears is a completely different kind of strength. In our next conversation, we'll talk about the freedom of the truth taker and what happens to your life when you stop being the one who has to hold it all together. I want you to do something with me. I want you to reach across and put a hand on your own shoulder. Just like this. Let's do it like this. Like a firm, steady grip. Like you're telling that younger version of you, I've got you now. Here's your affirmation. Say these words with me. I give myself permission to mourn the family I deserved. I am allowed to be sad that the truth was traded for silence. My grief is proof of my love for myself. I am laying down the illusion and picking up my life. I am moving forward with open eyes. Yes. You aren't breaking the family. You're just the first one brave enough to notice. It was already broken. Now you already know what it is. Before you go, I want you to really think about this. If you could say one thing to the version of you who was still trying to keep the family perfect, what would it be? What does that version of you need to hear about the truth today? Let that answer land. I'll see you in the next conversation.